Luffy is not beating Fleet Admiral Sakazuki, not anytime soon. We can forget about him avenging Ace either, so let's talk about it. Alright, before you come for me, pause, stop, don't shoot, I'm one of you. Luffy is my goat, I don't doubt my captain. Luffy vs Kaido? Absolute cinema. But I have been doing a little thinking about Sakazuki himself, and the more I look at the story, the less I think Luffy is ever getting his Marineford run back. With that thought, have you ever played Would You Rather? We'll come back to that. So, what do we know about Sakazuki? Yes, he's a hit maker, donut baker, desk major, right, and a fucking deadbeat if the Hibari allegations come to light. But also, we know his current occupation is just to say his ass behind that desk. There's a whole meme about it. And his desk is quite notably located at Navy HQ, which is not a location that the Straw Hats have even a ghost of a reason to ever go to. So for us to get into direct conflict with him, he would have to achieve his greatest feat to date. He'd have to leave his office and come to us. And we know Sakazuki doesn't leave his office, that's his defining characteristic. If he was out in the field, we wouldn't even be able to tell him apart from the average Marine Gooners. Besides, why would he even leave his office anyway? The Celestial Dragons don't have any lobster at Marijois. This is the pressing issue with dire ramifications for the future of the world. We need all hands on deck to solve this problem right now. Just like we need all hands on deck if we ever hope to get 1k subs by the end of the year. I don't really set goals because who the hell do I think I am to expect all that? Have I seen my upload track record? I am not in any position to plan on anything, but shit, I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't appreciate it, so yeah. Like the video if you think I'm cool, and also subscribe if you like Japanese drawings. Alright, so now that I've highlighted the unlikeliness of Sakazuki coming to us directly, I have to question, if not Luffy, who? Sakazuki isn't Kuro, he's not a minor villain that we can just leave to their own devices. So who can actually step up and be the one to put down the big red dog? Who's got that dog in him to box with Clifford? So, are you finally ready to play Would You Rather? Okay brother, let's play. Right now, there's really only 3 options for who, so who would you rather? The least likely option for me is Kuzan right off the bat. This would almost entirely hinge on him being the secret leader of Sword, and theorizing based on a theory is dirty work, so I'm not really gonna count on him. Sure, on paper, he has a lot of reasons to fight Sakazuki, but at his current position in the story, I don't think it really serves his character to beat Sakazuki, really. Unless he does so as the leader of Sword, but even then I feel like it would kind of be stealing option number 3's thunder, so I think Kuzan will have to chill out for a second. Did you get it? I said that with emphasis because he's made of... So then next up would be Ace. Not that one, the other Ace, Blonde Ace, the ace of something other than spades. We need a name for him. How about should have gotten his memory after the news dropped in Sabaody arc, or Sabo for short. Sabo has done quite a lot of inheriting things from Ace, so you'd think he'd be the one to make the most sense to fight Sakazuki. For starters, he's second in command of the faction in direct opposition of the world government. Sabo's direct superior even mirrors Sakazuki in that they just both do nothing. Their yellow subordinate handles their business for them. But that's not that important. Sabo and Sakazuki even have a similar devil fruit, with Sakazuki's Magu Magu no Mi being the direct upgrade of Sabo's Mera Mera no Mi. There would be no closer option than Sabo to take down Sakazuki because up till now, Sakazuki was the pinnacle. We were under the impression that we could just topple him and the 5 elders and world nobs would just be a cakewalk after, but we were wrong. Now, am I grouping everyone into my assumption to avoid being the only one who was wrong? That's not true. So yeah, right now, the Revolutionary Army has its own set of enemies to fight, not just the God's Knights, but the 5 elders and possibly Emu. We can't expect all these enemies to be taken down by the Straw Hats on top of the pirate enemies as well. So Sakazuki is a bit low on the list of necessary wins for the Revolutionary Army. Does that mean Sabo could still fight him? Yeah, but do I think he will? No. See, the third option is the one I'd like to be the actual final opponent for Sakazuki, and to justify putting him as the frontrunner over even Sabo, he is quite literally Luffy's first ally on his adventure. That's right, I'm talking about my dog, Kobe. Now, unless you're a Kobe fan like I am, I will have to ask you to really hear me out here. See, Kobe is currently being built up as someone who will eventually be to Luffy what Garp was to Roger. Luffy is going to be the king of the pirates and Kobe will be the hero of the marine. They're ideally supposed to be relative in strength, and Kobe I would have said is so far behind on this, but he's shown he might just be on that level. The moment he used Honesty Impact, I was forced to admit that I was not familiar with this game, and for that, I apologized. And at the risk of sounding like a Krispy Kreme merchant, I think Kobe's got it. I mean, it would be kind of unbelievable for Luffy's first rival to only have the reputation of taking on either nobodies or having his biggest battles be off-screen. You know, like some kind of pirate with black facial hair. He needs an actual serious win, but why Sakazuki of all people? See, Kobe is now a member of SWORD, so the Marines have plausible deniability for any of his actions. Strictly speaking, he's technically not even a Marine anymore, kind of. And he's already shown a distaste towards Sakazuki's methods in Marineford. Out of all the Marines in the Summit War, he's the only one who stood up to Sakazuki murdering all those Whitebeard pirates even after Ace's execution. So you see, if Kobe wants to do anything about the corruption in the Marines, there is no better time than the present. I wasn't really sure when and why he would do this, but now after Vegapunk's broadcast, the chapter number this one part, I think there's some seeds of rebellion and uncertainty being built up in the Marines. I feel like for this fight to happen, there would need to be an uprising in the Marines where the Marines who don't agree with Sakazuki or the world government could rebel against him. Kobe being the one to defeat Sakazuki is honestly such a crackhead theory, but I really need this to happen so I can tell people I told them so. So, Oda, I might need you to help a brother out on this one. And if that doesn't happen, I'll just pretend this video doesn't exist. But really, if you think about it, the scale of Luffy's future opponents has went up since we beat Kaido. Previously difficult opponents like Lucci stood no chance even after a mountain of power-ups in the post-time skip. There's no active marine that poses a threat to Luffy, but Sakazuki could still serve as an excellent building block for another character, i.e. Kobe. He wants to become an admiral, and the best way for that to happen is to actually beat an admiral-level opponent. Albeit this would be beating a fleet admiral, but same difference. It could also serve as a way for the mantle to be passed on to the next generation, even in the Marines. This way, the Marines could even break away from the world government. I don't think they'd be allies in the final war, but I could see them being a neutral force with a less morally dubious Marine like either Isho or the funniest option, Smoker, at the helm. I honestly don't think any of the world government factions are going to be stopped by the Straw Hats. So with that in mind, I feel like there's a vacuum of who could defeat the top brass of the Marines. If we pretend the Revolutionary Army doesn't exist for just this one fight, because to be honest, those niggas barely even do much for real. And the only character outside of those who it would fit narratively to be the one to defeat Sakazuki is Kobe. And with chapter this one, I am even more sure about this. So sure in fact that I am making it my agenda. The Kobe defeats Sakazuki agenda is real. And since I know I'm right anyway, you should subscribe instantly because I'm such a smart guy. You might as well subscribe anyway, because why are you this far in the video if you didn't enjoy it? Come on, just hit the button, dog. How about a subscribe if you agree with the Kobe defeats Sakazuki agenda? I don't really even know if this theory has been theorized before, or if I'm even being clear enough, but I just had this flash in the pan idea and I really wanted to talk about it. Alright, see you.